So, hi everybody, welcome to Office Hours. Um, this week I'm just going to talk about one of our indicators that we have at BigDog Labs, one of our premium indicators. So if you become a lab member, you can get a hold of this and use it on your charts. This one in particular is very useful for the day traders um, and very good for finding these turning points, warning signals, that kind of thing. And this one is called Candle Hunter. Now, the idea behind Candle Hunter is that in technical analysis there are these things called candle patterns, which are specific ways that these candles form and specific shapes that they make. And traders will use these different shapes to find trades. And I am very bad at finding these shapes in the charts. So I wrote a indicator to do it for me. um, so what do I mean by shapes in the chart? Right, so here's a very nice example. This here is a hammer candle. And you can see it's got this long wick on the bottom and it's got a narrow-ish body at the top and then a short wick on the top, so it kind of looks like a hammer. And these kind of candles are often reversal signals. So if you hover over the emoji there, you can see that this is a bullish reversal candle with a long bottom and a short top wick. What this means often is that this move down will be coming to an end. So these patterns are kind of describing what's happened during the period. So we're looking at the 1-day chart here. So over the course of one day, the price started at this top line here, top of the body. And then during the day, it went down really far. It went up a little bit, down really far, and then came back up to be almost back to where it started. So if you can imagine this as like supply and demand, buyers versus sellers, bears versus bulls, basically during this day, represented by, I'm going to zoom in a lot more, represented by this candle, the sellers, or the bears, were started here and were very aggressive during the day and did a lot of selling and brought the price right down here. But they ran out of momentum, and then enough buyers came back and said, oh, this Bitcoin in this case is too cheap, so we're going to buy it up and buy it all the way back up to where it was. So what you can see is that this downward momentum has ended with this big wick on this one day, and then it's come back up. And usually that's a sign, or that can be a good sign for at least the near future, that the price is going to at least come up a little bit. Or I guess a better description is that this downwards move has come to an end. Obviously, this can be very useful if you're going to trade this. So one way that it's useful, especially in this case, is if you were in a short, if you'd taken a short position up here for some reason, and then you got this hammer candle, this would be a good sign to exit your short, because it's likely that this is going to be the end of this downwards move. Or if you were feeling very bullish, you might want to actually take a long position here, because you're like, well, this downwards move has ended, so an upwards move may be occurring later. So that's basically it. Like, these candles are describing these movements throughout the day. And then different shapes of these candles are known for different things, often reversals. So a hammer candle is a good reversal, bullish reversal candle. So you can see it didn't bounce over the long period here, but it certainly was an end to this movement. Here is what we call a shooting star candle, which is basically the opposite of a hammer candle. We have a long top wick and a short bottom wick, so it kind of looks like this shooting star here. So we have a bearish reversal, so we've had this move upwards. The buyers, the bulls rather, have bought a lot, and then the bears have come in and pushed the price straight back down, all during one day, during a very short period. So again, this is signaling the end of this upwards period here. So we've come up here, and then it's peaked here, and so if you had a long position here, this would be a good sign to get out, or to perhaps take a short position. So there's some reversal candles. I'm looking at this chart live. This is the live Bitcoin chart, so we can see if we can find some other nice candles. I'll explain the mountains and the different colors. Here's another good one. So we have down here, we have this, I'm actually going to simplify this chart because there's a bit too much going on. Okay. So you can see here, again, we've had this downtrend here, and then it's ended with this hammer candle during the day. Price has gone down, bounced off the bottom here. We actually don't really care about what prices are, necessarily. We're just looking at the shapes of the candles. So it's bounced, and then it's reversed, and then it's gone up. This one next to it is what's called a bullish engulfing candle. And what that means is that we've got a big fat green candle, and the body of this candle has engulfed the whole of the body of the one previous to it. And so this bullish engulfing candle has signaled this upwards move. So these two candles together, this is a very powerful reversal signal. Things have come down, it's bounced up, and then you can see this totally played out. So this would have been a really nice trade to take on this reversal, and then you're going to come up here. These spinning tops here, and there's other ones that are called dojis. So these are indecision candles. So basically the top wick and the bottom wick are the same size. So during the course of the day, the price has gone up, the price has gone down, but it's basically ended up in the same space. And this is a sign of indecision. So if you have a spinning top like this, it can be a sign that a movement is coming to an end. It just basically says we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, at least in the short term. So you perhaps want to be slightly more cautious there. We've got some more shooting stars. Of course, they don't always play out. So this shooting star didn't play out. So if you were thinking, oh, this is coming to an end. So often we're looking for convergences with other indicators. And that's where Candle Hunter is very useful. So let's open up the settings of Candle Hunter. And in Candle Hunter we have obviously all the different candle patterns that are in this menu here. But we also have other indicators that we can display on the background. One of these is the RSI. So this is a momentum indicator. So if it's the brighter the green is, the higher the RSI is. Let me just bring up the RSI as well. So you can see the RSI is very high here, and the background color becomes a lot brighter green. And down here the RSI is lower, and the background color becomes red. So this shooting star kind of in the middle of the RSI, it doesn't really match up that well necessarily. It's just this kind of normal green, whereas this one is much stronger, right? So we've got a very hot RSI, buying has been very hot. We also, if you look carefully, have a divergence on the RSI, which means that the price is going up and the RSI is coming down, which is a bearish sign. And so this shooting star is much more powerful. It's a shooting star with a high RSI, and this one's a shooting star with a lower RSI. And so this one's much more powerful, and that actually played out much better. whereas this signal didn't play out as a reversal signal at all. So you can't just use candle patterns on their own, but you can use them in conjunction with other things. Here's another pair. So this is a gravestone doji. Looks like a gravestone, kind of. Where you've got this very, very small body. And let's close this. Very small body. The price has bubbled up. It's got to a point, it's got stuck, and then come back down. And then you have this bearish engulfing candle. So the body of this candle engulfs the body of the previous candle, and these two together would be a very powerful reversal signal. And you see its counterpart on the bottom there, a bullish engulfing candle. Let's see if we can find some more exotic shapes. Here's another one, a hanging man. Here's another reversal candle. And there's a lot of different candle patterns. And the thing about Candle Hunter is you can see, if I go back into the settings here, you can see we have loads. And a lot of traders try to memorize this, which is crazy if you ask me. I can't remember all of these. So that's why we have this indicator to draw these patterns for you. And you can see if you don't like a certain pattern, like we don't like hammers for some reason, then we can click that and turn them off, or we can turn them back on. And yeah, so, and also it gets hard to remember what these signals are all for. So I don't even remember what this one is. This is a Morningstar pattern, a bullish 3-candle pattern, which uses these 3 candles. Here we go. Oh, this is a really nice example of a Morningstar. Let me zoom in on it. So you get this fat dump candle coming down. Then you get a very small candle at the bottom, and then boom, bounces back up. And this is a bullish reversal pattern, so you're getting this bearish trend here, and then it's saying, okay, we've had tons of selling, and then the buyers have come back in force and basically bought up the whole lot. All of that selling was just completely cancelled out. So that's a good sign that there's momentum coming back into the market. In this case, it sort of fizzled out. And then you see here, we have a bearish engulfing candle, and 2 shooting stars. So this is a big warning sign of a reversal to come. Here we have an evening star, which is the opposite of the one that I talked about. A kite. Oh, sorry, a dragonfly. I just used a kite emoji. And you can see there's just loads and loads of these. And they're basically used for these more short-term trades. So you're going from this reversal down to this reversal, which is only a short way. Okay, so I think that's the reversal candles. That is a lot of the reversal candles demonstrated here. And you can use them in conjunction with other parts of Candle Hunter. So I showed you the background RSI. We also have our old friend, the alligator. And what's good about this, especially if you have the free version of TradingView, we've basically put in a ton of indicators into this one. So you can just use one indicator and not use up your allowance of 4 indicators on your chart. So you can look at the alligator, and you can see that the alligator's getting fat or thinner, and you can look for reversals. One thing I've not talked about are these mountain and valley candles. So they're a little bit different. They are using the DMI, which is a totally different indicator. We maybe talked about it a little bit before. So they're specifically taking their signals from the ADX of the DMI, this white line here. And when that peaks, that can be a sign of a uptrend coming to an end or a downtrend coming to an end. And we've called these mountain and valley signals. So if you are in a downtrend and this ADX peaks, then we print these valley signals. And if you're in an uptrend and the ADX peaks, then we print these mountain signals. These are very good take profit levels. So they're not great for exiting your position entirely, necessarily, especially because they, as you can see here, if you're in a nice strong uptrend, then momentum can return to the market and you'll get a second mountain at a higher peak. So you don't want to exit entirely here because you might go even higher. But they are certainly, if you were taking a long position here, this would be a really good sign to take profit. So a good take profit level. And you can see during this downtrend we had lots and lots of valleys. There's a valley there, there's a valley there, there's a valley there, valley there. So if you were taking a short position during this downtrend, you could take some profit there, take some profit there, profit there, profit there. And then you'd probably use another indicator to find your exit entirely. So this is, it's very much kind of a Swiss Army knife of an indicator. Let's see what else we got. I'm going to hide the alligator. The thing is, if you have too many signals on your chart, you can actually use different filters to filter out different signals. So these will, the RSI filter, for example, will only tell you if RSI is overbought or oversold. Maybe we'll just use that. So I always use the ATR filter. So the ATR is the average true range, and this will only show, this will filter out, sorry, candles that are just huge, very volatile, which if you're trading these pullbacks and short-term movements can be very dangerous. And it just doesn't really, this strategy, this price action strategy just doesn't apply if the market is that volatile. The other thing we use is a volume filter. So if you have, you can see I've got a lot of other candles. Essentially that puts a limit. Essentially that says, okay, we're only going to trade, we're only interested in candles that have a reasonable volume to them. So let me just give an example of that. If we go to like a lower volume token, maybe optimism, there is a lot more, the price action is a lot more choppy, and these candle patterns don't really apply necessarily to these kind of things. So let me just turn the volume filter on. You can see it filters out a ton of stuff because there's just not enough volume. And when there's not enough volume, just small trades can push the price in either direction. So, you know, what is a hammer candle if there's only been 5 trades? It just doesn't really make sense. So I always have the ATR and the volume filter on because that filters out most of the noise. And then there's other ones, so you can use the alligator filter to only trade in trends, or the EMA filter, which only trades when the price is above or below the EMA, or the RSI filter, which is one of Angelo's favorites, which only trades with the background RSI is strong. So you can see here, this hammer candle, oh, that is really quite nice. So Angelo will often post charts like this, and you can see that the RSI has come very hot. You've got this hammer candle reversal, so this would be a super nice trade, or would have been a super nice trade to take. As you can see, we're not really seeing much action at the moment. Let's just tinker with our filters here. Let's turn that one off. We've had a shooting star candle and we're in a bit of a downtrend. And if we bring the alligator up as well, let's bring everything up. alligator, and we have a EMA as well, which I think is at 200. So you can see we're basically in this kind of choppy zone. I'm just going to turn off the EMA again. And we'll turn off the RSI. Just look at the background. Yeah, here we go. So you can see currently, especially on Bitcoin, the alligator is very narrow, which is kind of unusual. It's usually either big or it's small, right? So this is very narrow and traveling sideways. So there's not much momentum in either direction. We've had a shooting star candle here and this temporary short downtrend, but it's kind of basically all come back. So I'm not really sure what to make of that. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Here it's the same story but in the opposite direction. We're having a uptrend. Oh, there's a three white soldiers here, which is a candle, a bullish pattern. We've got three nice tall candles all moving upwards, and you can see that was a really nice signal upwards. And we have a hammer candle here signaling the end of this short-term downtrend. And currently we're just not seeing any good signals here. So I'm not really sure what to make of that. But you can see the Valley candle pretty much predicted the bottom on 2 occasions. So they would be good buying signals. And then we've had a hanging man and a ADX, a mounting candle up here that have predicted this short-term top. None of our guys predicted this top, which is a little unfortunate. But we would have hopefully have taken profit here, 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 and here. Nice. So there's even more to candle, but wait, there's more. There's even more to Candle Hunter. So let's scroll down here. I'm going to turn off the alligator. And there's tons of options, which is a bit crazy. We're going to turn on the Bulldog candles and the Bear Dog candles. Go back to Bitcoin. So the Bulldog candles and the Bear Dog candles are these blue and red candles. These are a custom code that we wrote, that basically a strategy within a strategy. So what they essentially do is tell you when the market is super hot in either direction. So momentum is very, very hot when it's blue, and it's very hot on the downside when it's red. And a really nice strategy using this is finding a time when the Bulldog candles have just started, entering a position in that direction, and then as soon as the one breaks here, so we have our first red candle here, that would be when you would exit. So entering here on this first Bulldog candle, and then you'd be riding that up and looking for signs for it to end. So a shooting star candle would be like, okay, this momentum's coming to an end, and then it breaking with that. This candle is no longer a Bulldog candle with a mounted signal. That's a very strong signal to exit your position. So this would be a super nice trade. 32%. Well, you would actually exit here, right, when it closed. So 27%. So the idea is to ride these very hot trends on the upside, and likewise on the downside, it's usually better to enter on the second candle. Yeah, hot on the downside, and then you could ride that down until you get this reversal. So this basically tells you when you've got the Bulldogs and the Bear Dogs on, that things are either pumping or crashing very hard. This is like a signal that the market is super hot in one way or the other. So you can see they come in a bit here. This is actually better on a shorter time frame. So we're going to go to the 4 hour. I'm just going to go to today. So you can see we've got this uptrend. It gets very, very hot. Shooting star and then a break, and that's your exit, right? Bit of a downtrend, and then it breaks, and then it pops back up again. Let's see. Another nice example. Here we go. So we've got this downtrend. Yeah, the downtrend's happening, and then it's like, oh, this is a really strong downtrend. So a really nice short to take would be here, and then when it breaks, and with the valley candle, that's when you're getting out. Another nice uptrend here. Very, very hot, and then it breaks with the mountain, and then you get out. So these are just all data points that you can be looking at for making your trading decisions. Candle Hunter especially is better for shorter term trades, where we have Toto, which is better for longer term trades. This is very good if you're looking at these shorter time frames and gathering information that way, looking for pullbacks and things like this. Let's go on the hourly, see how we feel. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. I haven't looked at this chart. So yeah, we were getting indicators of the hourly. So you have this, which is a evening star, which is a bearish reversal candle. And then things crashed. We got the bear dog candles, and then a big dump. Valley candle indicating the bottom of the dump. I mean, good for you if you were brave enough to take this entry. And then it pumped back up again, 5%. So, yeah. And then here, ooh, we've just had a bearish engulfing candle there. And then it's pumped. Interesting times. Interesting. Let's bring on some more indicators. So we're going to go back in here. I just want to look at the RSI and the alligator. So I'm seeing a lot of sideways movement here. The alligator is twisting and turning. It's going back green again. Okay, here we go. I'm a little concerned about this bearish engulfing candle, to be honest. Which is a little bit going contrary to the current trend. But then we've only just turned over. I don't know if this can call this much of a trend. So this is bearish. The trend over the past day has been, I guess, I would say sideways. You know, more or less sideways. This is bullish, bearish, sideways. And then we've had this big U shape. Not really sure what to make of that. Oh, hi Herb. Which entry did you take? The after that crash yesterday, I guess, 2 days ago. Nice. Yeah, I mean, the idea of something like Candle Hunter is you can say, okay, I took that entry and it wasn't luck, it was all strategy. And you can justify your luck by saying, okay, it's crashed and we're getting a reversal. 2 hammer candles and a valley on the hourly, you know, this is a reversal. So, nice one. Good for you for doing that. There's even more to Candle Hunter. I even have this big candles. So if you're interested in just trading big candles, which is an interesting strategy, I put the big candle code in, which points out which candles are really big. I've never found this particularly useful, but it's there. If you can find a use for it, I go for it. And yeah, I'm retrospectively confirming that you are a natural genius, of course. um, so the other one that I do want to show is the firecracker, which is very, very interesting. But they're very rare signals. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the RSI. So the firecracker we actually added after the after we built Candle Hunter. We came across this strategy deep in the web that uses the ADX to basically find high risk entries on charts that have very low trends. And the thing about these is we don't know which direction the market is going to move in when we have these entries. So they're actually very rare, which means that if they are appearing, you should pay attention. Here we go. So, here's two wonderful examples. So essentially what the firecracker is a measurement of extremely low trend. And the way you can think about this is it's a coiled spring. So the spring is being compressed. As the trend dies down, interest wanes. The spring is being compressed, and the fuse is then lit when the spring is very tight. I'm mixing this metaphor of a firecracker and a spring, but the fuse gets lit. So you can see here we've had a downtrend, it's ended, and then it's just flat. And especially if we're using different filters, like the volume filter. So this is a high volume candle, and yet there's no trend. So there's a lot of interest in the market, but the price isn't moving, which is a very curious time. And what we have found is this can often, not immediately, but often precede large movements in the market. The problem with this is we don't know which direction it's going to go in. So this is a measure of no trend. So essentially we have a very low trend here, and you would then take, and it often precedes a big move. So you need to then figure out, using your other indicators, which direction you're going to bet in. And you can see that this firecracker played out beautifully. If you've taken a trade on this, you would have to guess which direction. The valley maybe indicates that this downtrend is at an end. The narrowing of the alligator as well maybe indicates that this downtrend is at an end. So a long trade is reasonable in this direction. But if you're going to go if you're feeling bearish, maybe you would go the other way. Often the advice here would be to use a reasonable stop loss in case you're wrong. And you can see that it popped up the firecracker blue, and it went up. And likewise at the top here, we've had a bunch of firecrackers here. And this is really interesting that we had the trend popped up and then crashed back down. So I don't know that you would be able to actually profit from this trade unless you were had very wide stop losses. But you can see that things were going to get volatile very, very quickly because of these. So its trend was very low volatility, and then it popped up, and then the market said, "Oh no, we need to go the other way," and came back down. I'll see if we can find some others. But the thing is that these are very rare signals. So usually this is a sign to pay attention, right? Like, pay attention to this chart. Something is about to pop. Let's see. So here, very low momentum, and then it actually popped a couple of times. Popped up, and then popped down again. So it's like volatility is low now, and it's about to pop off again. So kind of an interesting signal. Not super obvious what to do with it, but we use it as kind of, it's like a little exclamation point. Pay attention. Let's see if we can find one on another chart. But the thing about this firecracker is I've never seen anyone else use it. So this is very unique to Candle Hunter. Here, low volatility, and then poof, popped up. Right. So, you know, if you're, if you can do things called straddle trades, where you basically trade in both directions, but you have a stop loss. So that way you kind of, it doesn't matter which direction you go in, and you always win. That's one strategy you can use. Yeah, really interesting candle. Just go into the chat, see if there's any questions. Let's see, any more in Candle Hunter? Let's see. So another thing with our indicators is I add in a lot of options in the menus. So if you want to go crazy, you can customize this as much as you like. Change all the filter settings, change the firecracker settings, change the RSI settings, change all sorts of things. You can also add alerts if you want. So here you could add an alert. Oh, no, that was no good. Yeah, there we go. So you could use select Candle Hunter from here, and then is there an alert? Yeah, there are alerts. Yeah. So Candle Hunter will use, if you basically set up the chart with whatever candles you want to look at. So if you just wanted to look at firecrackers, the way it's set up now, firecrackers and valley candles, you set up the chart like that, and then I would set up my alerts on this 4-hour Ethereum chart, and then I could create an alert, and then the next time a firecracker comes along, I could get that as a push notification. And we actually have some bots set up in the trading section that use these Candle Hunter alerts, so you can get them coming through that way as well in the Discord server. And I think that's it for Candle Hunter. I know it's kind of a lot, but yeah, we're really proud of this one. It was a really, really nice piece of work. It does exactly what I wanted it to do. And really fills in a gap in my brain that I am terrible at spotting these patterns, so basically get the computer to do it for me. Yeah, so I recommend it. Herb, do you have any questions, any requests for charts to look at? Otherwise, I might just leave it there for this week. BNB, let's have a look. I don't even have that on my watch list, so I've definitely not looked at it. Let's have a look. Let's go BNB USDT. Oh dear. Let's go on the daily. Actually, let's start. We'll do it properly. We'll start on the weekly. This is how, if I'm going in cold to something, this is how I would do it. So we're going to, yeah, we'll just leave the alligator on, sorry. And yeah, let's turn on Level Hunter. We haven't talked about Level Hunter today, but this is one of our other premium indicators. This is how I would actually do TA, right? So I'd start on the weekly, and then I would set some levels. Set a level, Alt H, by the way, if you're using TradingView. Adds a horizontal line, very nice. So obviously there's this big fat line at 650, that's the all-time high. And then there's this other level at 330, and another level at 250, which might be the, oops, what did I just do? Oh, I just moved it. Sorry. This might be a very interesting level, and another one at 215, right. So you can see it was in this kind of sideways price action that probably goes along with the rest of the market, and then it's totally fallen off a cliff this week. Let's go to the daily. So the good thing about putting lines in is that these have now stayed on my daily chart, and you can see the weekly levels. So we can see that this level at 240 and 215 are certainly in play. The old level of the daily was this one, 276. As you can see, we've crashed through that in the daily, and the alligator is widening out. I'm just going to go back into Candle Hunter and turn on the Bulldog and the Bear Dog candles. So yes, here we go. Bear Dog candle has lit up. This means that this is very hot in the downtrend, really crashing hard, and that this is widening up. So the alligator is also widening up in the downtrend. It's broken through this important level at 276, and is certainly heading to this next level at 241. Let's try the 4 hour. Yeah, Bear Dog candles on the 4 hour. Let's have a look if there's any levels here. Yeah, we're kind of in free fall. There's a level at 267 OH. So you can see it broke through. This level's actually quite interesting. On the 4 hour, broke from. I've just taken it from this bounce here. When was that? In March. So it's broken through 2 levels, and then it's come back up, and then it's touching this level now. So, but we are, of course, still in these Bear Dog candles, so the trend is very hot. The alligator is widening. So this is looking quite bad. Quite bad. I'm just going to bring up the DMI, which is here, and we're going to look at the trend. You see the ADX is rising fast. It's just about maybe peaking, maybe. I certainly wouldn't necessarily bet on it, but I think a reasonable trade actually against this would be a short position, obviously, unless you're, I don't know. I'm certainly not bullish this. With a target on this level 240. Yeah, if you can trade the bounce, I mean, it would have been better taking it there, but and then certainly putting a stop loss. Yeah, a stop loss at that level. I mean, this would be a very reasonable short trade, I think. Could take it. That's actually a really good one. Quite nice, quite tempting. The other thing I like to do with altcoins is compare them to Bitcoin, because essentially Bitcoin, like obviously the market kind of moves in step with Bitcoin. So if you compare BNB against BTC, yeah, then it sort of neutralizes the overall market effect, and you're getting a good like comparison, filtering out whatever Bitcoin's doing, right? And you can see the trend is the same, but we have a valley candle on the 4 hour, so you know, could be a signal that this downtrend is coming to an end, at least against Bitcoin. Maybe, could be, maybe, I don't know, could be. And that the downwards motion on the against the dollar is just the movement of BTC. Possible. Let's have a look at the daily. I mean, the daily is obviously going to say this, show the same story, but the daily is like, look at this. Hey, look at these firecrackers. Very nice. So the daily is showing a very clear. I'm just going to turn off level hunter briefly. The daily has been showing a very clear downtrend of, as Ben Cohen would say, BNB bleeding against BTC. Just down, 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 down. And then we've had these glorious... This is why firecrackers... BNB is not a coin that I would ever watch, which is a shame because these firecrackers got it dead on, right? There was no trend, no trend, no trend. Okay, the spring's getting loaded, and then the bad news comes in, and it pops to the downside. So this is... I love to see this because it's like really confirms that we're doing it right, but it's also a real regret because it's like, I wish I'd looked at this chart. It's too late now. So to take a short trade here would have been just, oh, beautiful. But we actually have a inverse hammer here, which could be a sign that this trend is coming to an end, at least in the short term. But on the long term, I mean, against BTC, this is not good. And there's no reason to believe it's going to get better, I don't think. Let's actually bring Level Hunter back and look for a target level. Oh no, we've already blown through that one. Blown through that one. Blown through, yeah, so 0.92. A short trade to 0.92 could be 0.0092. Could be pretty reasonable, yeah. So that's basically where it spent most of the bear market. Traded upwards, well, and then it's come back down again. So it looks bad. It's possible we've done the most of this kind of big move downwards, because we are getting a couple of reversal signals. We've got the inverse hammer on the daily, and the valley candle on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, we've seen it bounce up, and again another valley candle. But overall, I mean, you have to say that this is very, very bearish. And I think this trade here, entry at, let's say, 265, stop loss at 275, and an exit at, what's that, 240. Risk reward 2.8. I think this is a really nice trade. Really nice trade. So I'm actually going to leave this up on the screen for next week, and we can see how this plays out. And I'm very tempted to take it myself. I think this is a really, really nice trade. But yeah, this is a great example. So thanks, Herb. That was a good shout to look at that. So I think with that, maybe I'll be opening up Binance, and yeah, I'm gonna call it there for this week. Yeah. So thanks everybody. Thanks everybody who's watched after the fact. Thank you, Herb, for joining me, and Angelo, who was here earlier. And yeah, I think I'm going to move to Wednesday, so we'll probably be back next Wednesday. Certainly the week after that, it will be a Wednesday. And we're always available if you want to @Trading Master in the server. And if you want to look at some charts or anything like that, just let us know. And cool. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody, and have a great week.